a Yaesu FRG-100 communications receiver. Now, I've only recently purchased this. These were manufactured from approximately, I think, 1992 up to about 2002. So the radio's over 20 years old, and it might be over 30 years old. But this one's in very good condition. All I've done is given it a little wipe over, but it came to me very clean and in very good order, so I'm pleased about that. Now, this is the first FRG-100 I've ever owned. It's also, I think I'm correct in saying, Yaesu's last dedicated HF communications receiver. Okay, this is their last dedicated communications receiver. It replaced the FRG-8800, which I also have. And I'll just show you a quick size comparison. And you'll see, okay, it is quite a bit larger. It's quite a bit heavier. And I just see them side by side. It's a little bit higher as well, a little bit taller, as you can see on the cabinet there. Now, the FRG-100 is quite a bit lighter weight as well. So why is it so much more compact? Why is it lighter? The main reason, I think, there are two reasons, but the main reason in terms of the weight is that this receiver does not have an inbuilt power supply. So you need a 12-volt supply to power this receiver. It comes with a Yaesu adapter, a 12-volt adapter, and this one has got the adapter with it, and I'll show you that in a moment. There's no inbuilt power supply, unlike the FRG-8800 I just showed you, and unlike the 7700 that came before it and the FRG-7, they all had onboard power supplies. The other thing you'll notice is, looking at the front panel of the radio, the speaker is not at the front of the radio like it is on the 8800 and like it was on the 7700. The speaker is on the top of the cabinet here. It's a relatively small speaker too, but that does save some space at the front of the radio. The other thing about this radio is it's got a fairly early form, I suppose, of menu system in it. So if you've got one of these, as I found out at an early stage, you're going to need the manual to be able to perform some of the functions that the receiver is capable of, because there is a limited menu system in this. So for altering things like the tuning steps and various other parameters, the manual is going to be very, very useful. But we'll just have a quick basic look at the radio before we see it in action. So we've got an analog S meter here. We've got the frequency display LCD window. You can see that the radio shows a clock when it's switched off. I haven't set the time on this one. I'll just press the power button and you can see the display. I think that's in the dim setting. Not sure how the backlight will appear because it's quite light in this room. I'll just undim it. And you've got a very annoying beep that can be switched off. But again, it means going into the menu system. And each time you unplug the radio, it doesn't tend to, it forgets those settings. So when I first had this radio, I looked up how to unset the beep. I've unplugged it and brought it in here to get a little bit of better light for filming, and you can see that the beep, very loud, very annoying beep, is reinstated, and that is with the volume right down. Okay, so that's perhaps one of the little drawbacks. I don't know why manufacturers, they all do it. They do it with handheld radios and all sorts of things, scanners, these very annoying key beeps. But nevertheless, we've got a nice clear frequency readout here. It also indicates the mode. So you can see we're in lower sideband. We can go to CW, AM. This radio, I don't think this radio has the FM filter installed. The FM was an option. This radio doesn't have it. But the button obviously is there. We've got rotary controls on the bottom for switching between memories. Okay, we've got a squelch which operates in all modes, and we've got the volume control here. Power button here, obviously. We have a two-step attenuator, 6 dBs and 12 dBs, no RF gain control on this radio. A noise blanker, AGC fast or slow, and we have various keys to do with the memories, switch between VFO and memories, clear memories, enter a VFO frequency into memory, and so on. Buttons for the clock here, the clock and the timer. Okay, the select and set buttons, which we use when we're altering some of the menu functions in the radio. We've got a lock button there, which will stop the tuning knob from having any effect, and the dimmer for the LCD display and the backlight of the S-meter. Mode buttons there, so we've got narrow and wide filters on FM. I think it's something like 8 kilohertz or 9 kilohertz wide and 4 narrow on AM. Main tuning knob there. Scan buttons. Radio will scan through memories. Limited use on HF in my opinion, but the features there. Up and down buttons. These can be set in a number of ways. I've got these up and down buttons to switch through the broadcast bands, shortwave broadcast bands. You can, by going into the menu, set them so that they will just switch up in 1 kilohertz steps, so you can go through the whole of the HF spectrum in 1 kilohertz steps, and then that's in the fast mode, and you can reduce the stepping. Press the fast button, and you'll see that the steps that now are in 100 kilohertz steps. So that's what the fast button there is for. Let's just I'll turn the radio towards you slightly, and we will see the speaker grill here on the top panel of the radio. I'll unplug the DC supply, and let's have a look at the rear panel of the radio. All right, so we've got a few things here. Got our ground connector here, ground leg. We can switch the memory battery for backups off or on with this little switch here. We've got our antenna connectors. So we've got the SO239 here, which we'll all be familiar with. And then we can put wire connectors in here. High impedance antenna, one for ground, one for the antenna itself. And a little micro switch to switch between these two sockets. Okay. We've got a mute terminal, a remote terminal, which I think the remote, I think you could have an additional keypad to punch in frequencies. I think that's where that would go. Record socket, external speaker socket, your 12 volt in DC socket, and a computer control CAT socket here. Now there are leads still available that will fit both this and I believe the FRG-100 and allow some form of computer control. I might look at getting one of those. That might be quite interesting to see just what we can control from the CAT socket and what software is out there for these radios. But that's a quick look at the FRG-100. I've also printed out a manual for this radio. It didn't come with a manual. So I'll be looking at that and getting a little bit more of an idea about the features of the radio, and particularly how to look at the menu system. I'll show you that when I take the radio back into the shack and we'll hear it and see it in action. Just quickly, we've got underneath a little tilt stand bail here. Okay, you can just see it there. And there's a card which I guess is original, which is in here. Usefully, we've got some handy reference guides for some of the features in the radio itself. Okay, that's there. And then we've just got time zones of the world on the back. I'm guessing that came with the radio itself because it just slots into the little grooves at the bottom here, like that, like so. So that's a nice little feature that has come along with. So there it is, the FRG-100. You'll start seeing it in some of my videos. There's a couple of shorts out there already of it receiving on my Wellbrook loop. It seems to do, I had read they were rather insensitive on medium wave, but this one seems okay. I don't know whether it's been modded, but it seems certainly as sensitive as the FRG-8800, which is pretty good. Had a couple of days of using it, and so far I'm quite impressed. I wish I'd got one years ago. There it is, Yaesu FRG-100. Look out for it shortly, and we'll see it in operation in the shack. Thanks for watching.